And we're back in the room, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the Caiman Show. Today, I have joining us Eurovision and television royalty. We have a Eurovision Song Contest winner in our presence. Bow down, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I give you the one, the only, Cheryl Baker. Welcome to the show. It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. But can I tell you something for a start? I'm not the one and only. And do you know how I know that? I had a payment go into my bank of something like £1,500. And it said for my appearances in Die Hard 2 and Lethal Weapon. And I thought, well, I didn't, I wasn't in those films. And I've discovered since that there's a Cheryl Baker who's a bit part actor in America. And so I had to pay her the money that... I wonder if she's been paid any of my money.
I know, yeah. What the heck, you know? I wonder if she's getting royalties for making your mind up or whatever, you know? Crikey, imagine. So you paid all the money back, right?
Yeah, of course.
Damn it. Well, yeah, brilliant stuff. What a great mistake to happen, though, right?
Well, it really made me laugh for your appearances in Lethal Weapon and Die Hard 2.
That's an awesome claim to fame, surely, to add to your already existing resume, you know? Brilliant stuff. Well, talking of your resume, it's bright, it's colourful, and it speaks for itself. First of all, first question, if you're game, I'd just like to know how, where, when, why did you break into show business?
Because I just wanted to, ever since I was a very small child. I'm the fourth of 5 children, and so my older brothers and sister used to buy records back in those days. I mean, my sister's 11 years older than me, and she used to buy records by the Everly Brothers, and it was that kind of era, the late 50s, early 60s. Beatles, of course, I loved the Beatles.
Oh, yeah, standard.
I just listened to harmonies in particular and thought how amazing they were, and that's all I did. You know, I'd go into my bedroom, try and teach myself how to play guitar and sing, and always sing a harmony. I remember dancing with a boy once at a club, and this is me. I'm a harmony singer.
Yeah.
And whenever I hear a song, I hear the harmony. And I started singing the harmony with this guy when he was dancing with me, and he went, "You're singing all the wrong notes." Not. It's a bit like, what was it? What was the comedy duo? You know, I'm singing all the right notes, but not necessarily in the right order.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Shut up, Ray, going on. Anyway, so yeah, it's all I ever wanted to do, and but sensibly, I trained to be a secretary at school because I lived in East London,
Yeah.
which is one stop away on the train to the city where all the jobs were in the 70s. So I thought I'll be a secretary and maybe I'll get maybe I'll get a job as a singer in a pub at the end of the road, because it's very much a pub culture then. Every corner had a pub.
Yeah.
Now every corner has a house that used to be a pub.
Yeah, or a pub that's turned into a charity shop or something, you know?
Yeah. So I did that. I worked as a secretary, shorthand typist, for 5 years until I was 21. I left school. And then I always used to buy the Melody Maker and the New Musical Express, and I'd always look at Singers Wanted, you know, never having the guts to ring up any audition opportunities. And then this one jumped out at me. They wanted a harmony singer, and I thought, that's me. This is my job. And that was in 1975. And I applied, I auditioned, and I got the job. And that band was Coco. I was with Coco for 5 years, and we did the Eurovision Song Contest in 19...
That's right.
So that's how it all started, and it was because of a dream of mine when I was a small child.
Brilliant stuff. That's where it all begins. Them small seeds grow into great big trees at the end of the day, you know? So,
you know, even younger, dressing up in my mum's clothes, all I wanted to be was a singer.
Yeah, I used to dress up in my mum's clothes as well, but that's another story.
That's very fun.
I jest. Or do I? So yeah, your Eurovision Song Contest. So obviously you've mentioned Coco first of all. So did you do the song for Europe first with Coco? Was that correct?
Yeah, it was the first year that they did an open song for Europe, because before that they used to choose the singer, like Olivia Newton-John, New Seekers, Cliff Richard. They would choose the singer, and then that singer for several weeks would sing a different song, and you would choose. You would have to write in on a postcard. You would have to write in what song was your favourite. But then in 1976, they changed all that and made it an open competition for anybody to enter. And so there were 12 entries that year. There was Tony Christie was in it. Frank Ifield was in it. These are all famous, singers from the past. And that year, and Brotherhood of Man were in it, who of course went on to win. But they beat us into second place by 2 points.
Damn them! Damn them!
That Caiman, but I'd only been, I was green behind the ears, or whatever the saying is. I'd only been in the business for a few months.
Yeah.
I was not ready. I could not have coped with it. So, thankfully, 2 years later, we did the Song for Europe again in 1978, and we won, and we went on to represent the country in France in the Eurovision Song Contest. By that time, I still wasn't really ready. I still didn't. I had so much to learn, and we lost. We lost by we came 11th in that Eurovision Song Contest with a song called "The Bad Old Days."
The Bad Old Days, yeah. Didn't that become a chart hit, however, on the back of that?
Chart hit, yeah. It was top 20. It got to number 14 or something.
13.
Thank you. I don't remember. And we had an album out and everything, and it was actually not a very nice, not a very nice thing for me to look back on, because it was a bit depressing, really. I mean, well, not depressing. That's a bit extreme, but it was. I felt like I'd let the country down. That's crazy, isn't it? But 11th, to come 11th in the Eurovision in those days was such a failure, because we always used to win or come second.
Yeah.
That was it. You never did less than that. It was the worst the UK had ever done at that time.
Really,
so
was it?
It felt like I'd let the whole country and my queen down.
Oh, crikey. Oh, that's dramatic. But so did you have one more shot after that then? With Coco? Did you have one more shot in 80?
Eurovision?
Yeah.
Yes, I did, yeah. We did, actually, I did quite a few Song for Europes. I did the 76 one when we came second to Brotherhood of Man. I did 77, but I did it, I sang the song and another artist performed it.
Yeah.
78, of course, we won and we went on to do the Eurovision. I don't think, 79, I might have given it a rest, I'm not sure. When did the Nolans do it? Because I sang all of the vocals on that Nolans demo. It was called Harry My Honolulu Lover. and that demo was the one that got through to the Song for Europe. And I was thrilled because the Nolans were going to sing it, but the demo that everyone had listened to was my vocal. And
wow.
Proud about that, yeah.
Definitely.
1980, I did the Song for Europe again with a band called The Main Event. The Main Event were actually Coco,
Right, okay.
And we came last.
Song
for Europe. It was a song called "Gonna Do My Best."
Yeah. The irony, right?
And if you look at it on YouTube, there's a bit in the dance routine where I do it completely wrong. Such assertion. I do it with that it looks like I've made the others go wrong.
Yeah, I'll be sure to dig that out. So
before Bucks Fizz.
Yeah. So okay, obviously, letting the country down, or however you want to put it, you made up for it then, yeah. So Bucks Fizz, Eurovision. Obviously, you had persistence flowing through your body. Clearly, all right. So Bucks Fizz, talk us through, how did that come about? How did you meet the guys? Was there an audition phase? Did you know one another? What's the situation?
When we recorded The Bad Old Days and the album The Bad Old Days with Coco, we used a recording studio called Mayfair Sound, which was in South Molton Street in London, and there was a woman there who I always used to cross paths with. Her name was Nicola Martin, And if there was a party that I was invited to through Mayfair Sound, she would be there.
Okay.
There was a time when the guys who ran Mayfair Sound, they had a longboat on Regent's Canal in London, and they said, "Do you want to come on the Regent's Canal? And we're going to have a little poodle." Nicola was there, so I didn't particularly like her, if I'm honest. I thought she was very in your face, you know, and she was a man's woman, not a woman, you know. But anyway, that's how I knew her. When I left Coco in 1980, because I'd just had enough of it. I'd had enough. It was all getting a bit, I don't know. You know, when you kind of don't get on anymore and you just think, I've had enough of this. So I thought, what I'll go back to what I used to do. I'll do secretarial work. So I rang Mayfair Sound and I said, look, I can do BVs for any of your artists. I can answer your phones. I can type your letters. And they went, yeah, come on then, we'll give you a job. So I went along and I worked there for a few months actually. And towards the end of 1980, in walked Nicola Martin to do some recording. And she said, what are you doing here? And I said, oh, I've left Coco. So shortly after that, I got the phone call, got a song in for the Song for Europe. Come and have a listen. We'd like you to be in the band. So
excellent stuff. Brilliant.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. So would that have been 1980 then, or had you already crept into 81?
80. And I actually went along to hear the song and to sort of audition, but she knew what I could do, and she knew that I'd been in the Eurovision before. She knew that I could sing harmonies. She knew I could dance. So I fitted her criteria. So it was I think about the 7th of January, so very early on in January. And then 4 days later, I was invited back to meet Mike, Jay and Bobby. So I did actually see Mike when I went along to sit on the 7th of January. I did see Mike. He'd just had a bath. He was staying at Nicola's.
Yeah.
And he was coming down the stairs. And she opened the door and went, hello, Cheryl, come in. And I looked up and there was this vision, this beautiful man. He'd just got out of the bath and he had a fluffy white towel just sort of hanging on his hips. It would have been so easy to just...
Temptation, yeah?
But no, it didn't. But I just thought, he's beautiful. And he still is beautiful. So that was my first memory of seeing Mike Nolan. But no, we'd never, none of us had ever met before. We were absolutely put together like a recipe for a cake. We were just put together to be a band. And that was the 11th of January. And on the 11th of March, just 2 months later, we did the Song for Europe.
Fantastic.
After that, we did the Eurovision, or 4 weeks actually, 4 weeks after that, we did the Eurovision. I mean, it was crazy times. It was full on, you know, we had no time to think about it.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. So Song for Europe, obviously you won Song for Europe, so you must have been ecstatic again at that, winning with this new band now, Bucks Fizz. From there, so what was next? Obviously, so what was your journey towards the Eurovision then from Song for Europe? How long did you have?
4 weeks. 4 weeks. When we won, we did win very easily. I think two juries didn't give us top marks, but they gave us almost top marks. Everybody else gave us top marks. My husband now was a mate of mine. I met him in 1975, and in the 1981 Song for Europe, he was there, and I went, "Oh, Stroudy," because everyone called him Stroudy. What are you doing here? And he said, "Oh, I'm in a Song for Europe, you know." And he was in a band that did a beautiful ballad, and I thought, wow, you know, they've got a really good chance of winning. And as it happened, they did. They came third.
Yeah.
But when we were doing the rehearsals, I think he and his band felt very confident. There was also another singer who was quite popular at the time, big voice, can't think of her name now. The group were called Liquid Gold.
Ah, right, yeah.
She had a really big voice, and the track was very dancey, and they looked great. So I thought that Steve's band and her band were our main competition, and as it happened, we were 1, 2, and 3. So
oh, were you? Yeah.
Yeah. So she came second, and Steve's band came third. But during the show, during all the rehearsals, you know, you see them. The more you hear a song, the more it grows on you. You think, oh, that's really good. Even if the first time you think, nah, we can beat this one. But then came the dress run, and Steve watched us do our dress run, and the skirts came off.
Yeah, brilliant. I was going to ask about the skirts. Tell us how that came about. Whose idea was that? Who was the brainchild behind that?
Chance. It was. But Jay wanted to wear a mini skirt, and I wanted to wear a skirt to the knee because I've got very muscly thighs. I've always been a runner, so I've got real chunky thighs, and so I wanted a skirt that was longer. And I just, oh, you know what? Let's have both. Choreographer said, "That's it. On the line, if you want to see some more, we take the top skirt off."
Ah, perfect.
So that's what happened in the dress run of Song for Europe. And Steve said to the rest of his band, "We might as well go home now."
And the writing was on the wall.
Absolutely. That's a title of one of our albums. Did you know that?
Hey, see, I've done my homework. Honest. Brilliant stuff. So rehearsals, the skirts came off. So you went to Eurovision and talk us through it. What was going on? So at the Eurovision Song Contest then, stomachs in knots, that sort of deal?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was in Dublin. You have to fly out. I mean, actually, I saw James Newman, who's doing our song this year. I saw him a few days ago, and I said, "When are you going out?" He's going out like 2 weeks before. I think because of all the semi-finals that they have now, all the preliminaries. Even though there's not going to be the massive audience that there usually is, they still have to fly out quite a bit before. We only flew out, I think, on the Monday. So, 6 days, 5 days before the actual competition. And and it was actually at the time, the IRA had said that they were going to disrupt the contest.
Oh, great. Talk about an added pressure, right?
Yeah. But when you're young, Caiman, you don't think of the danger, you think of the excitement. It's stupid. So we were kept away from the other delegations. We had a different hotel. Everywhere we travelled on our own and with outriders and whizzing through red lights and, just to keep us on the move. So that we felt like royalty, really, honestly. It was.
Well, you are.
I mean, anyone could have taken a pot shot at us. You don't think of that. You don't think actually we're an IRA target, which we obviously were. But the whole thing, the excitement of it, the nerves of it, the fact that it was in Ireland and they know how to, have a good time.
Oh yeah.
Organizer was it in a brewery. They know how to.
Totally, yeah. I've spent a lot of time in Ireland wrestling, and
it was fabulous. And even if we hadn't won, I would have said what an amazing experience it was because it was wonderful. Mike Nolan was from Dublin, so we saw his family, and the poutine was flowing, and it was just great. I loved it, the whole thing. But yes, it was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done in my life.
Brilliant stuff. So let's go to the day then. So you spent 5 or 6 days prior in Ireland. Let's take it to the day. So the alarm clock goes off in the morning. Talk us through it.
Yeah, you have very little sleep the night before. Obviously.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And you go to, I think it was the RDS. I think that's the venue that we used. I think that's the name of it. And you spend the day there. I mean, we had our own area. You've got the big green room that you can go to. It can be a bit laborious because everyone has got to do their dress run. So and there's quite a few, obviously not as many as now, but a lot of countries in the Eurovision, and so it's a lot of hanging around, a lot of tea, a lot of running to the toilet, and all the time again, sort of armed guards. We had armed guards on our bedroom doors and everything. Jeez. It was remarkable, really. And then it's showtime, and you hear that music, dan 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 dan. I love that, and every time I hear it, it makes my stomach churn in a good way,
Yeah.
So you hear that, and you know that you're off and running. And we were somewhere in the middle. I think we were 9th or 11th or something. So we had a while to wait.
What's that in the running order? Yeah.
Yeah, in the running order. And there were some good songs in that Eurovision. Some really good songs. And Mike had been really optimistic about winning. He thought that we had a great chance of winning. And he said it's going to be us, Switzerland, France and Germany. They're the top 4. But he said I don't think we're going to win. Right in the he was very confident all the way through till show day, and then he said, "We're not going to win." He said it's going to be either Germany, Switzerland, or France, and we're going to come fourth. So he got the 4 countries right.
Yeah.
Wrong order, thankfully.
Excellent, and that's a good thing, right?
The actual the voting was so nerve-wracking because we were somewhere near the. I mean, our first vote I think was 3, so I thought, oh, that's it.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah.
But then after that, we got a couple of deux points, but all the others were 8s, 7s, 8s, 9s. You know, all kind of pretty average votes. But we got votes from every country, and you saw us just creeping up, and then we were always at like the top 3. Thinking, oh blimey, you know, we're doing really well here. And then it came down to the penultimate vote, and I think that vote. See, the last country to vote was Switzerland, and they were in competition with us. But of course, you can't vote for yourself, so they didn't get any votes. I think for the penultimate vote, and so Terry Wogan said, "That's it. Switzerland are out. It's now between Germany and the UK. The UK needs 5 votes, and I think to win, and we were given 8.
Fantastic.
And Germany were given 12." And so all the cameras went on to Germany because she just got deux points and obviously thought, that's it, I've done it. But she hadn't.
Clearly not.
4 points. And it was, I mean, to win the Eurovision, this was a childhood dream of mine. To win the Eurovision is like winning an Olympic gold medal, in my opinion. Medal, yeah. So that was something that I wanted to do as well because I was a runner. So I thought, I want to win an Olympic gold medal. And then when singing became my priority, I want to win the Eurovision Song Contest. And I did it.
You did it. Hey, I salute you. Fantastic. But, you know, who says dreams can't come true, right? If you've got a dream, chase it.
Absolutely.
Living proof right here. Fantastic. So what was more nerve-wracking, the performance or the waiting for the vote in?
Oh, the performance.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was absolutely quaking in my boots. Yeah, I was. It was. I mean, I could hardly breathe. And you about to go on stage, and you think, I'm going to get the routine wrong. What's the first line? What's the first line? Honestly, and you just have to trust your automatic pilot taking over.
Yeah.
Because really, you think, I'm not going to do this. It's not going to. I'm going to cock it all up, and we're going to come 11th again. But the equally though the voting is incredibly nerve-wracking. Not so much if you're at the bottom. If you're not getting many votes, you think, oh well, we're
yeah,
out.
you know, that's it. Get my coat on, off we go. Go to the pub.
Yeah. Let's have it. Let's enjoy ourselves anyway. But when you're up there and you're vying for the top spot constantly, then that's the nerve-wracking thing. There are photos of us all in the green room going, you know, really thinking, are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? And I tell you what, it's fantastic. It's great.
So when the announcement was made then, UK winners, #1, fantastic. What went through your mind then?
Well, you know, when we did the Song for Europe, because I don't know if we just ticked the right box with that song at that time. I don't know why it was, but it became a huge hit before we did Eurovision. When we did the Eurovision, we were already number 5 in the charts. And so we already had a top 5 hit on our hands, you know. Yeah. And in fact, the chart day that in those days was Tuesday. And on the Tuesday after the Eurovision, we went to number 2. Now, whether we won or lost Eurovision, we would have still gone to number 2.
Yeah, you'd have still had that score.
We had a song at the top of the charts, practically at the absolute top, without even winning. So we knew that we had a hit on our hands.
Yeah, that's a strong song right there.
Eurovision gave us a hit all over the world. We went to number 1 in 9 countries or 8 countries or something around Europe, and I don't know where else it went. Other countries anyway. And so from then on, like immediately, we flew home to England on the Sunday. Monday we had to have a meeting about, you know, oh blimey, what's going to happen now then? We had no manager. So we had to take on a manager, and it was all had to happen like now. And the next day we flew off to Austria to do TV, and then it just carried on from there. And I think for the first year, or possibly the first 2 years, we spent at least 9 months of the year out of the country promoting whatever single was out at that time.
Amazing.
We went everywhere. We went to South America, we went to Japan, we went to Australia, obviously we went to Europe, but all these other countries, the Philippines. I mean, I've never dreamt of going to the Philippines,
No,
Brazil or Chile. My brother lives in Australia. I went to Australia. It was amazing, honestly. I mean, they recoup everything, all of the expenses they recoup out of your royalties. You're not told that.
yeah,
But I wouldn't change a day of it because it was just wonderful.
that's brilliant. That must be one hell of a collection of passport stamps as well, right there.
I kept my passports.
Did you? Yeah,
You have to give them back, don't you? But if you want to keep them, they just cut the end off the corner.
that's right.
And I look back, sometimes I look and think, wow, we did all that. And actually in those days, you used to get a stamp from Europe as well. So
That's right. Yeah, yeah, wherever you went, wasn't it? Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, it was an amazing time in my life.
brilliant stuff. Fantastic. Still going as well. Still at it.
I know.
What's Fizz? Yeah. I was reading earlier. Hopefully, if everything is lifted and if everything is cool, Skegness, absolute 80s.
Yeah. When's that?
September the 24th.
Yeah, we've got our next gig is this month. It's on the 21st of May. It's a Warner's where they do 80s weekends, but at Warner's everyone has to be seated. And so we had notification yesterday that it's definitely going ahead. So
Fantastic.
this month. Wow.
Excellent stuff. What date is that again?
We're going to sorry?
What date is that one again?
I think it's the 21st of May, I think. Yeah, we'll have to rehearse because 21st of May. We'll have to rehearse because we haven't worked together for, blimey, months and months. And months.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I mean, it's very sporadic. We've got another gig in June, and I think still things are being cancelled. Festivals have been cancelled. Prides they haven't been cancelled, but they've cancelled sort of tops of bills because they're trying to reduce the cost of the event because they're a charity event.
Yeah.
So yeah, Skeggy in September or whenever it is, November. So it's nowhere near as many gigs as usual, but it's building up and next year's looking great.
Excellent stuff. Well, I'm hoping to come to Skeggy myself, so passes.
Let me know, and you can get you in.
Fantastic. God bless you. I'll get the drinks in then. That's our deal, yeah? Excellent. So
You live there then? Do you live in?
no. I just like to return every now and then. I live in a little town called Merthyr Tydfil. I do in South Wales. But I did all my wrestling career up in Kent.
I'm in Swansea, and it was my favourite pantomime with Joe Pasquale.
Oh,
And
brilliant.
he was like the village idiot in it, or the twit role in it, and he had a magic word where if he said this magic word, he would be mesmerised or something, and that word or those two words were, and I can do it now, Merthyr Tydfil. Joe would go, Merthyr Tydfil, and then he'd be like, like a zombie or whatever. So my favourite.
Yeah, we always get it.
So how can you live in Merthyr Tydfil? Skegness is hardly up the road, is it?
Nah, I like to travel, I like to take a wander every now and then.
Minehead, that's a lot closer.
Well, I like Skegness. It's an old stomping ground as well, I've done a few wrestling shows there back in the day, so it's just nice to see what's changed since the last time I was there, and what's that?
It's still windy.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Well, it always was and it always will be, I guess. But it's a good event as well. It looks like a good show and everything. So hopefully
these weekends are fantastic. The Butlins, 80 and Pontins and the Warners. The Warners really attract an older crowd. So perhaps not so much Warners, but the Butlins and the Pontins and all the other people that do the 80s weekends and the festivals. They're my favourite gigs. They're my favourite because the audience are just crazy and they dress up. You look into the audience and you see so many groups of four dressed as Bucks Fizz.
Brilliant.
Love it. I love it. Oh,
Magical. It's just looking into a bunch of mirrors, you know. So obviously, music career has been fantastic. Then you've done absolute wonders. That speaks for itself. From music, you led on into television. How did that come about? What was your first break in television?
It was a show called How Dare You. It was a children's program from Tyne Tees from up in Newcastle, and how it came about was when we were interviewed as Bucks Fizz. I always tried to be quiet. I always tried to let everyone else have a say, but Jay and Bobby in particular were quite shy and weren't forthcoming with answers. So me and Mike Nolan, we used to butt in and give the answers. So we were the gobby ones, if you like. And I liked it. I liked talking on TV. And so I said to our manager, Jill, can you put me forward for any jobs, you know, as a children's presenter? Because of the age that I was and the attraction that I had, it was towards that age group.
It just fitted, yeah.
I thought it makes sense to be a children's presenter. And I thought, I haven't got to leave the group. I can still be in the band, but do a bit of TV. And this was in 1984. And I started presenting a show called How Dare You, which was great fun, very slapstick, but great to do. And from then on, I did, actually straight after that, well, we had the coach crash, and we had 6 months when we couldn't work because Mike Nolan was so poorly.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of TV at that time. I started with, I think, the Saturday morning the Saturday picture show with Mark Curry.
That's right, yeah.
Show, yeah.
I was watching a bit of that yesterday. I was watching your rendition of Grease.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was magical.
That was great. Great days. I think someone gave us the wrong lyrics to that. When I look back at it, I'm sure we sang "On the Wrong Timing." But anyway, yeah, I did that, and I did a program with Michael Aspel called the 6 o'clock show, and I don't know, it all kind of started rolling, and and there was not a year until 1998 from then on that I wasn't presenting some kind of TV. They did This Is Your Life on me in 1997, and that was like the kiss of death. That was when, because I was on telly at that time 6 days a week, and so that seemed like, you know, that's the end of your career now.
Yeah, we'll close the book on that now then, literally. But no, I remember some others as well. Eggs and Baker, I remember. Was that a lot of fun? It looked like a lot of fun.
I loved that because I love cooking and I love music, obviously, and so it was a combination of the two things. And I met, do you remember the fantastic chef who unfortunately died recently, Gary Rhodes?
Yes, of course, yeah.
I saw him at a presentation thing, and he came up to me, and he wasn't known at all at that time. He was a chef in a restaurant in London, not his own. You know, it was called the Greenhouse, and yeah, the Greenhouse or the Glass House. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And he came up to me and said, "I love that you're encouraging young people to cook because they're not doing it at school anymore." And I went, "You know what?" Because he looked with the crazy spiky hair.
Yeah.
On the show. And so we had him on the show. So I think it was either the first or the second TV that Gary ever did was on Eggs and Baker, and we became firm friends ever since, like, from then on. And we had some great guests. I mean, I think was it Blur?
I remember. I was going to say, wasn't it their first appearance on television as well?
First television. I mean, had oh god, blimey, I can't remember. So many acts that you look at now and you think they're big acts, and or they have been big acts, and they started.
That's where they cut their teeth. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah,
yeah. You went on as well. Did you do 10 years? Was it for Record Breakers?
Record Breakers. What was the bit you said before that? I blew my nose and
didn't. Hey, blow away. It's all good. We're all friends here. Yeah, Record Breakers. So you did. Was it 10 years with Record Breakers? You did.
I did 11 series.
11 series, yeah.
11 series. And worked with the great Roy Castle for 8 of those.
Fantastic. I was going to ask, what was it like to work with a legend like Roy?
Yeah, well, that's another nerve-wracking thing. When I was invited up to the BBC to meet him, that was in 1987, and I went up to the BBC and he was there, and I thought, oh blimey, this bloke, he's been on Broadway, he's been in movies, he's, you know, a massive star, he's a record breaker, he's done record breakers for years.
Mm.
Oh, I'm terrified. I mean, I'm a novice. You know, I've only been doing a little bit of children's TV. Anyway, I got the job. He was kindness personified. He was giving, everything you wanted him to be. He was your best mate. He was your favourite uncle. He was your next door neighbour who would always be helpful. It was all those things rolled into one. Always had time to listen to you. It was just lovely. And the last time I saw Roy, was I just had my babies, my twin daughters. It was in 1994, and he at that time was suffering from really suffering from cancer of the lung, to the point where he died shortly after. But he came to the hospital because one of my daughters was very poorly. She was in special care baby unit, and he came to see us.
Oh, wow.
And he was obviously suffering from the effects of the chemo and everything. He was incredibly tired, he was bloated, he lost all his hair and everything. He was with his wife Fiona, and I went, oh Roy, how are you? And he said, never mind me, I'm not the important one here, how are those babies? And that absolutely epitomises what Roy Castle was like.
What a selfless man. Yeah.
It was wonderful, and I feel so privileged to have worked with such a great man.
Fantastic. Awesome. God bless him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant stuff. So yeah, fantastic television career as well. Record breakers then, 11 series. That's unheard of.
I know, and the reason it ended, there was a change of the head of the children's department, and she wanted to sweep with a new broom, so she got rid of everybody. You know, Chris Akabusi, we all went, and unfortunately that was really the end of Record Breakers. But for my 11 series that I did, we had so much fun, and we travelled the world to see people breaking records. You know, it's one of those things that will never go away. You know, they should still have a Record Breakers program because people are breaking records all the time, and they want to be recognised for it, and they want a television camera crew there to film them because they're proud of what they're doing. I mean, some records are crazy and silly, but some are fantastic,
Spectacular, yeah.
unbelievable, you know, and so brave, and they should be recognised for it, not just go in a book, but be on the telly. So I think that's where Record Breakers was a great series, and I think it's sadly missed.
It is sadly missed, definitely. I'll be honest, I was probably with you for the whole 11 series, you know, throughout myself. Yeah. And if I was, everyone else in school me was, their brothers, their sisters, you know. So I think cutting a show like that is a big mistake, in my opinion. I think it was great. It was something different as well, you know, which you don't see anymore.
We used to be on at the crossover between children's and if you like, grown-up television, like
yeah,
like that. And it was on at 4 o'clock, not so much, but 5 o'clock. We used to get audiences of 7 million.
Amazing.
That's a children's television program. Yeah, it's crazy.
That is crazy, you know. Yeah. But fantastic. So, what's next for yourself after lockdown? Then, after lockdown's lifting now. So, you've got some gigs lined up. You've got some bits and pieces lined up. Anything else you want to plug? Anyone else you want to acknowledge?
Well, we're going to the studio next week with Mike Stock. We met Mike Stock about 4 years ago, from Stock Aitken and Waterman. He followed me on Twitter, so I saw the blue tick, and I thought, oh, how many followers has he got? Me following him back, and it was obviously. So I followed him back, and a Fizz fan, a Bucks Fizz fan, saw that we were following each other, and so he tweeted us saying, how about Mike Stock doing an album with the Fizz?
Brilliant.
And Mike responded and said, I'd love to. So we've done 3 albums with him now. We've done the F to Z of Pop, Christmas with the Fizz, and Smoke and Mirrors. And we are going into the studio next week to start on album number 4 to coincide with our 40th anniversary.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's this year, 40 years, right?
Yeah. We should have done it last year. In the autumn, and of course we couldn't because of COVID. As Mike Stock said, your 40th anniversary lasts a year. It's not a one day. You know, you hold that crown, if you like, until the next Eurovision. So we can celebrate any time this year. So we'll do the album, and on the album launch, we will then celebrate our 40 years since winning Eurovision.
Brilliant stuff. That's fantastic. You're allowed to tell us what the album's called? Has it got a name yet?
No. We haven't even heard any of the tracks yet. He writes 99% of the tracks. My daughter always puts a track in.
Oh, brilliant.
She uses the name Lakey. Her single's out this week on Friday.
What's it called?
Jay always puts a song forward, and that's it. There's always a Jay song and a Lakey song or a Kyla song, and the rest are Mike Stock. But he's a prolific songwriter. That's all he does. He just sings songs all the time. He's a songwriting genius. He really is.
Fantastic. Awesome. So it's all still going on. What's your daughter's single called? So people can go out and have a look for it.
Me.
What was that? Sorry, I think I spoke over you.
Saving Me.
Saving Me by Lakey. Fantastic.
And by Lakey, yeah. She had to do an anagram of her own name because there were other Kylie. There were other Kylas that had all the social names and the .com.
I got you.
So she went with Lakey.
Only one Lakey, right? Excellent stuff. So to sum it up in one word, if you were to describe your magnificent journey through Eurovision, through music, through television, through coming on the Caiman show, of course, so one word, what would you say?
Glorious.
Glorious. That's a quality word. That is a quality word.
It's been an amazing journey. It really has. I don't know what I did right in a previous life, if there was one, but I must have done something right because I have, I can't say some of the words that come into mind, but I must have. I've been so lucky. I'm thinking of all inappropriate words to use, and I can't use them.
Chuck them in if you want. We'll put a discretionary on you if need be, or I can bleep you.
You know when they say if you're treading, all right, you can bleep me. If you're treading shit, it's lucky. I must have rolled in shit throughout my life because I have been the luckiest bird. I really have.
Brilliant. There's an old saying though as well, Cheryl. You make your own luck as well. And I think the word I used earlier as well was persistence. And looking back through your journey, you've certainly been persistent and it has certainly paid off. So well done. Thank
you very much. I use that as well. When I say to people, you can be lucky, but you have to put yourself in a position to be lucky. You can't wait for the phone. You can make your own luck. You're absolutely right.
That's it. Yeah. You're not going to catch a dream if you're not chasing a dream.
No, exactly.
Definitely.
I'll nick that one. Thank you.
You can have that one on me. Well, there's an old saying as well. I'm full of old sayings. Never meet your heroes, but I'll be honest, with a hand on my heart, it's been a genuine pleasure to have you on, to meet you, to have a chat with you. So thank you so much for coming on and chatting to the Cayman. I do appreciate it.
I loved it. I've really enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Brilliant stuff. Well, good luck with everything. Hopefully, I'll see you in Skeggy. And I'll get you that drink.
Let me know. Actually, seriously, because as you know, with the butlins things, you have to book the whole weekend, don't you? So obviously you don't have to do that. So when we come down, let me know and I'll make sure that you're one of our crew.
Fantastic. God bless you. Cheryl Baker, it has been an absolute pleasure. Stay safe. Good luck with everything.
Very much.
I'll speak to you soon.